Welcome back to part 2 of my 96 Bronco interior refresh stereo amp install, frustrating me to high hell and back. Yeah, so if you watch part 1, everything went really well with the door, the passenger door panel, driver door panel, just completely shot. But I'm moving on. I got to keep getting it done. And I'll get those for Christmas or something like that, no big deal. So I know I showed you in the last video what I'm dealing with, but I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera around so you can see where I'm starting and kind of show you a couple of the things that I've gotten. This is not something I do. I mean, look, my wire cutter's brand new. They're not even open. So I'm gonna do some practice on some spare wires that I have somewhere. And so I'm not just cutting them all up and shortening the wires and then I'm kind of screwing myself. So I'll do a little bit of practice with that, but I'm going to flip you around, show you what I've got, you know, show you some of the stuff with the stereo, etc. And yeah, just kind of go from there. So let me turn this around for you. All right, so like I showed you, now I do want to point out that on the back of the stereo, although it's not marked, I hope it's on the instructions, that has the RCA in and out. I think that's what it's called. And I guess technically I should only be running 1 amp, which would be these wires right here. Well, I did some research and you can actually get these splitters to run a 2nd amp. You run 1 and 1, like from one power cable or RCA cable to the other RC cable, and that creates 1. This will go into the stereo, and then you run the opposite side, so I guess it's power and negative, and then this would run into the, well, whatever, I might be grabbing them wrong, but I think you get what I'm saying. I did read some comments that said it's not the best to get the output for the amps, but it works. So, you know what, like I said, I've never done this before, so I'm giving it a shot, and it's kind of what I like to do. So, but here's the stereo that I'm putting in. It's a touch screen. It does come with 2 different pigtails, and one of them I don't think I'm going to be using. I don't remember which one it is. It's been a while since I looked at them. But the other one, and I'm just going to use this as an example because I think this is probably it. Not real sure. But the colors kind of matched up with the old, with the old plug. So I'm going to be cutting it here. I'll slip some heat shrink on there. I'll connect everything. I'll test it before I actually do the heat shrink, just to make sure it's working. And it also came with this, which I don't know what it is, but that's why I'm going to actually go through the instructions, see what I've got. I showed you the 210s on the other video. You'll be seeing them again here. I've got all kinds of different sizes of heat shrink or heat wrap, whatever you guys want to call it. And I think I've got enough tools to get myself in trouble. But I'm going to get to cutting and getting everything ready. So that's it. I'm going to get everything cut up. Once I get it wired, and I actually have everything wired, I'm not going to necessarily worry about where the wires are running just yet. I just want to hook everything up, make sure it works, and then I'll heat shrink everything. Then I'll run the wires, you know, down around the edge and under where it might go, etc. All right. Let me get to work. It's getting a little late. I'm probably not going to get much done, but probably going to be a couple days before I get another update because it takes me that long to get some work done. All right, stay tuned. All right, so quick little update. Now, just until I know everything is working right, I just put some electrical tape just to keep everything together, but I've already got my shrink wrap on there, and if it doesn't fit over, no big deal. I can just take the tape off and shrink wrap everything. I don't think I need these. This green one, I'm gonna guess that's for illumination, maybe for the lights on the stereo. Again, you guys, I don't do this stuff, so I'm kind of doing a lot of guessing as I go along. And I did not have, the only greens that I had were for right, left, and, you know, RL, whatever that is, but that's not for the illumination. So if I don't get any illumination, I think I can just tie into this yellow one, which I believe is constant power. Again, I'm kind of guessing at this moment. I would have to definitely do some research, and that should give me illumination. If it's giving me illumination when the car is off, then I'll have to figure something else out, because that will give me a parasitic draw, which I definitely don't want. But that's kind of where I am, and that's not where the amps are going to go, but I've got everything plugged in. I've got my ground right there, and I did look underneath, and there's nothing there. And if everything goes as planned, I'll just spray some undercoating on there underneath, and go from there. But I've already got the new bracket in. Getting ready to, I'm not going to put the stereo in there just yet. I'm going to hook everything up, turn it on, and hey, fingers crossed, let's see what happens. All right, so here it is, all installed. There's not even any trim panel I need. I mean, it fit perfectly in there. Like I said, I did the electrical tape just to test everything, and at first the subs and amps weren't working. I thought maybe the RC cables, I think that's what they are, on the back, maybe I had to switch them around or do whatever. So kind of took a few minutes to myself, came back out to check everything, and when I popped the hood to connect the battery again, because I keep disconnecting it while I'm working on the truck, I realized I didn't even hook up the power. So let me show you what I did for power. And I kind of showed you this when I did the lights. So I already had the one sub and amp from before, and that's what this is. Now, you know what? I did not add that. So I'm gonna have to splice into this and add that capacitor or fuse, whatever it is. I'm gonna have to add that. I'll probably just add it right in here, no big deal. But this is that distribution block, I think is what it's called, or something to that effect, that I added when I had to run power for the fog lights. And there were actually 4 stations in here, so I had one left. Used that for the power for the other one. And as you can see, I've just kind of got everything zip tied up there. I could probably get some of this and put it on, but I'm pretty happy with it. I got to do that though, because I don't want to blow anything. Yeah, so that's it, man. Let me get some more done. I can now start working on the carpet, get the wires where I want them laid, and I think what I'm going to do is for the back, what I'm going to do is probably get a piece of plywood to go in this section, put some padding on the bottom, and there are these little L brackets here, you know, and I'm going to screw through the carpet. Yeah, I know some of y'all might not want to do that, and into that piece of plywood. That way they shouldn't move around from that. I really don't want to try and figure out where I'm screwing into the bottom of this. I did it for the ground, but I don't want to do a lot of that. So yeah, that's what I got to do. I got to get that carpet out. It's kind of cold, so I got to wait for a warm day when it can lay out and get flattened out. And look at that, tailgate is down. So yeah, everything's moving along. Still not happy with the door card though, but I'm super stoked with how the stereo came out. All right, let's keep going. Quick little update. I'm not really sure where I ended that last clip, but I got the stereo installed. I think I showed all that. I'll put a link for this stereo, if I remember, down in the description if anybody's interested. It fit right in, and I do not believe that anything had been cut when the previous Alpine or whatever it was had been installed. So fit right in, and got everything wired, heat shrink. I mean, it looks a little crazy in there, but it's a lot of wires. Not much you can do about that. Now, I wanted to show you how I'm running the wires. These were already in there from the previous amp install. So I just kind of routed them a little different because it went to the back over there somewhere. So I just put some tape down to kind of secure it. And this is what I'm doing as far as the mount. So I've got this piece of plywood, and I've got a couple layers of indoor-outdoor carpet just as a little bit of a cushion. This thing's not going to be shifting around, so nothing's going to be rubbing, and wires aren't going to be getting cut, none of that. And it's going to be, I need you to imagine the carpet on top of this, the amp on top of the carpet. I'm going to screw through the carpet and into the plywood. I didn't want to screw into the body of the truck. And as you can see here, I've got some slits cut in there. So the wires are going to come up through the plywood. Of course, I'll have to cut a slit in the carpet. And I can shorten all those wires. Obviously, they're not going to be that obnoxious. I've got a couple more. I've still got that blue wire that's got to run. And then the remote for the base. So I'm actually going to run those wires here, and the console sits right here. I'm going to put the two remotes on the side near the driver so I can control each one. Still haven't figured out how I'm going to run those exactly, but should be pretty straightforward. And I had 1 amp before. The seat will still fold up. I initially bought the low profile because I just kind of hoped it would fit under the seat, and it doesn't. So that's kind of what I'm left with. I know some people aren't going to like that because they're still relatively visible, but I like it. I like it a lot more than having that big box in the back, and I think it's going to look pretty good. Again, I'm not trucking around a bunch of people, so I'm not worried about anything back there. But next up is waiting for it to be really hot so I can get that carpet laid out. I have the old one to use as a template, trim everything up, get the carpet in, and I'll be back. Update on the carpet install. I'm going to tell you right up front, I think it's better than it was because it looks better, but I did not do a very good job getting all the wrinkles out. Maybe some of you that have done this a lot more have had better luck. You know, maybe if I did it a bunch more times, it might look a little bit better, but relatively speaking, I'm happy. I've already got the kick panel installed over there, and I started on the door trim. Got the kick panel installed over here. Need to do the door trim. But let me show you the amps. Now, I did what I did because I did not like the look of a 12-inch subwoofer in the back portion of the Bronco. So I put them here, and I know a lot of you are probably going to not like that, and that's fine. I'm not so sure I exactly like this decision either. I'm starting to think, because they're low profile, they might not have stood out as much as that big box that I had in the back for the 12-inch woofer. Possibly I should have mounted these behind the seat, but my reasoning for not liking that is because when you fold the seat up, then there's going to be space between, it's just going to look like the amps are mounted in the middle of the floor. I didn't like that thought, so that's why I went with this. If it starts to bug me too much, you know, maybe in a few years I'll get another carpet and I'll try my luck again. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. I might have to still do a little bit of trimming, but yeah, there it is. I got the console in. Let me show you what I did with the remotes for the amps, if you can see those. So I just put double-sided tape. I drilled a hole on the bottom of the console and on the bottom on the back, so the wires went into the console, and then they went out of the console. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this because of light, but they came in there, I tied them all up, and they go out there, and then they go under the carpet so you can't see it. But yeah, it's a little update for you. I'll be back at it tomorrow. I might have everything done by tomorrow, hopefully. And just about done. I just got to put the back seat in, but I wanted to show everybody who has the, I guess it's called a 3-point harness, where it connects to the top. And I take the top off of my truck all the time, but I needed seat belts, so I bought some seat belts that would be for one of the older Broncos. I don't know what year they started with the 3-point harness, and I just took a bolt out and tightened it up there. It's not going anywhere. And also, I only used the one piece because the buckle portion from the ones that I bought, they secure differently on the newer ones. I don't know how they secure on the older ones, so I just left it. It's not the same color, but whatever, I don't care. So should have a reveal here just in a few minutes. So everything's done, put back together. I really wanted to take the top off and, you know, do a reveal with the top off, because that's really how I like to drive my Bronco around. I know a lot of people don't want to because a lot of people say it leaks. I haven't had any problems with that. This is my third one. I haven't had any problems with it leaking. But anyway, I'm just going to tell you, I feel like I talk a lot, but I'm not 100% happy with how this came out. I've done a carpet before, but I was kind of under pressure and I was having help, so I really went fast and I wasn't happy with that one. But I thought if I took my time, because I was definitely in no rush, and in the Bronco you've got so much room to move around, I thought it would come out a little bit better. Now in the front, around the transmission tunnel, it seems like the new carpet is molded for that, and it laid down pretty well. But in the back, you know, if you guys are, I'm sure you guys know, there's a lot of contours in the back. And if you take something that's just flat and lay it on something that has contours, it's going to buckle up in places. So I had that happen a little bit. Probably overthinking it, but you know, when I work on things, whatever I'm doing, I really strive for perfection. I know I might not reach it, but if I can get as close to that as possible, that's where I want to be. And I feel like I fell fairly short of that. The amps, I'm actually not 100% happy with the placement of them. You know, I did think about if I moved them behind the seat here. Well, I'm actually going to flip the camera around, so I'm not trying to figure that out. But let me flip the camera around, kind of show you everything that I got. I will try not to talk too much, but let me know what you think. Yeah, let me know what you think. I don't know. So I'm going to start in the back here, and I had already done the back half of this probably about a year ago when I first got the Bronco. I painted all of the brackets and everything, and I used this indoor-outdoor carpet that was like 20 bucks. And I realize there's a couple different shades of gray back here, but that's okay. I really like it. It's a clean look. Now, this is what I was talking about. I could have put an amp there, maybe. I'm not sure about the space. An amp there and an amp there, tucked right up against the seat. And those being low profile, they definitely would look better than having that big 12-inch sub box that was in here when I bought it. But then if I move the seat up, if I fold it forward, it's going to look like the amps are in the middle of the floor. So I didn't want to do that. But I really love the way the side panels came out. I got new fender well carpets from somebody on the Facebook page. Different color. I don't really care. I'm not concerned about that. You will see, because I did get rid of the three-point harness, obviously I'm still going to have those holes where the seatbelt used to go, and I'm okay with that. You know, I really just needed to get some seatbelts for when my grandkids are riding around in the back. So let me go ahead and show you the front. I'm going to show you the door card. So it started out with one little crack right here that I could have left alone. I tried to fix it, and then it just busted everywhere. And every time I tried to fix it, it just broke someplace else. So I just kind of gave up. I'm going to order new door cards probably for Christmas. Now, I still need to vacuum. But as you can see, I mean, it really came out really well. These kick panels, I painted those with the paint that you saw. Center console, I painted that. Everything in the front portion, front half, I guess you could say, came out really well. Really happy with that. Oh, and the stereo, I think I already showed you, but fit perfectly in there. I'm going to put a link down for that. You know, I've got the bass controls right here. They go up under. There's a hole inside. And then they're inside, and then they come out under there and come through the carpet. And this is where I've got all the wires coming up back here. Now, a lot of people don't ride in the back, so I'm not so concerned. But this is kind of what I was talking about with the buckling. And oh, as I talk about not leaking, I've got a little bit of water right there, so need to check that out. But yeah, so I'm not 100% happy. Maybe all of this happened because I was trying to screw this down and hold this down, and maybe with another person helping me, it might have helped a little bit better. But I'm not going to change anything. Maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, I'll try something else. But overall, pretty happy with it. And I don't know about playing music, but it sounds great. I mean, it really sounds awesome. So I'm pretty stoked. Let me know what you think. For those of you wondering, it's a 4-inch rough country lift, 31-inch tires. Those things are brand new, so I'm not replacing them. So comment what you want about needing 33s or 35s. And I'm not going to put 35s. I'm going to be going with 33s. But anyway, there you go. And let me know what y'all think, all right? Appreciate it.